I haven't done a vlog in a while, and this isn't necessarily the way that I wanted to do it or the topic that I'd like to discuss, but recent comments have compelled me to speak up. We've all heard, or most of us have heard, the newest rumors, accusations, stories, reports of Morgan Freeman. And I haven't done any research into it, and I'm not going to weigh my opinion on it. What I have seen are the comments made by the general public, and they're disgusting. So I thought I'd share, as a survivor of sexual assault, sexual abuse, rape, what those comments appear to be, and how this Me Too movement, as stupid as you think it is, how important it is. You know, the sad thing is, many of the comments have come from women. And that's sad that there's not more support, at least within the same sex, gender, whatever, however you want to classify it. I'm a little keyed up, to be honest with you. But I want to enlighten people. The sad thing is, the people that should listen to this probably won't. And if they do, it'll piss them off, and I'm okay with that. One of the comments that I'm hearing is, I hope it's not true. I do too. Let's be honest. I think we all hope that. And I wish for that. Part of the reason is selfish, because I think Morgan Freeman is an amazing actor. And he's in a lot of things that I like to watch. But on the personal side of things, I know that false reporting is like 2%. So the chances of it being false are really slim. 2%. Yeah. So think about that in numbers. 2 out of 100 people would have a false report, because it doesn't typically happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it isn't very common. One of the other comments that I'm hearing is, why now? You just happen to remember. And sometimes that's the case. It is common for our bodies to protect us from trauma. And one aspect of that protection can be repressed memory. I was abused from 6 until I was 14 years old. And I have known my entire life. I have memories from early. But as I've gotten older and I have worked through the trauma that I've lived through, I remember more now at 40 than I did 10 years ago. That's why people now come forward. That's why we just now remember. That's not fake. That's not made up. That's not a story. As people heal and as they go through therapy, sometimes it even takes medication. You grow as you heal, as you become a survivor. You can remember more things. That's not unheard of. That doesn't automatically make it made up. Another comment I'm hearing, and this one really pisses me off, is, why are we only accusing famous people who are rich? Come on, people. You're not that dumb, right? Everyday people get accused all the time. But if my neighbor Joe sexually assaults me, if you don't live in this community, you're not going to hear about it. You're hearing it because the accuser is famous. Dee, people, come on. These comments make me sick to my stomach. And it also makes me worry that we really are an ignorant society. To think that people are only accusing famous people. No, you only hear about the famous ones. Come on. One of the things that really got me was seeing, it was a social media post, so I read it, was someone saying, get over it. Get over yourself, move on. Let me tell you something. I will spend every day for the rest of my life trying to get over it. There's no getting over it. There are things that happen in life that trigger me. There are things I cannot do. PTSD is a bitch. I will have nightmares. I have panic attacks. I have flashbacks. And I have to live with that every day. I might have days or weeks where things are great. But one thing, all it takes is just one small trigger. Sometimes seemingly innocent, stupid thing that nobody thinks would bother anybody to put me in a tailspin. There is no getting over it. You learn to live. You learn to cope. Some days you don't get out of bed. Some days are spent screaming and yelling at the world for just a little bit of understanding. Some days are spent cussing at ignorance and hoping and praying that something like this doesn't happen to them, but thinking if it did, they'd get it. Nobody deserves this. And the victim blaming in our society is probably the sole number one reason why people don't tell. I can tell you that my abuse started at 6. And I told someone who was part of my family. Someone who should have protected me with every last breath in her. And it wasn't until later. I was 12 when I told. 11, 12-ish. And I was told I was around too much. I made it too easy, and I needed to find something else to do with my time. At 12, I was victim blamed. That's why people don't tell. The abuse is bad enough. And it's something that you have to live with your entire life. And to tell, it can be degrading and demoralizing. And then you come forward and tell and people blame you. That's why people don't tell. And in this case, people accuse you of wanting money. There's not enough money in the world that'll ever heal the scars that I have. There's not enough money in the world that'll ever take away the demons that I have to live with. So the next time you read somebody coming forward, I don't care if it's a new instance, I don't care if it's an old one, I don't care if the accuser is famous or not. Yeah, I don't care. And the reason I don't care is abuse is real. And we are doing a disservice to anybody who is abused by immediately jumping on someone who comes forward and says it happened. I implore you to act like a human being, or to put yourself in somebody's shoes, or maybe just choose not to say anything at all. And I hope it never happens to you or your family or your sisters or your brothers or your moms or anybody. But I can promise you that if it does, once it hits close to home, you'll have a better understanding. And the last thing I'm going to say, I hope it's the last thing because I'm tired of talking about it, is people are talking about what is assault and what isn't. Or why it's happening to women and not men. And what you're okay with is yours. You own that. But if someone does something to me and I'm uncomfortable with it, if you place your hand on the small of my back and I'm uncomfortable with it, that's too much. Assault in general is unwanted touching. So what you deem as assault may not be something that someone else sees as assault, but it doesn't make it any less valid. So before you post, I guess I'll leave this with this small piece. Before you choose to post on a public post, like the news sources that are sharing stories, you might want to think twice. Those are public posts, which means anybody can read it. And we'll use Facebook as an example. If you comment on a post and you have 1,000 friends, each and every one of them can see your comment. And they're ignorant, and they're disgusting, and it makes you look ignorant and disgusting. So, think about it. Put yourself in my shoes. I'm going to get over it about the time I stop breathing. And that's probably when I'll stop talking about it. Because your comments, your hatred, your judgment tell me that I'm not talking about it enough. My voice isn't loud enough. Not enough people are hearing me. The Me Too movement is just getting started, and it clearly needs to continue. Because every comment I've read as of late has attacked the people that are coming forward. And that's not okay. We can do better than that, people. We are better than that. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to people who are survivors. And we owe it to our children. We need to make this world a better place. Otherwise, we're just taking up space.